She's been recording for a long time.
All right. So when we have y is equal to x, the number in front of x is 1, so our slope is 1, and we can write that as a fraction by putting it over 1. Okay, so these are all skills that we've already known. Our y-intercept is always the number in the back. So when we have y equals mx plus b, b is the y-intercept. So what number is back here behind the x?
1.
Behind the x, is there something back here?
No.
No, there's nothing back here. If there's nothing back here, what number is that?
0.
0. So our y-intercept is 0. There is a single x here. That's it. There is nothing behind it. The intercept is 0. Okay? So if our slope is 1, think back to our friend Bob or Bobita, or you can think about your slope guy. This is a positive slope. So if this is a positive slope, Bob would be going up. So we would have a diagonal line.
He's going up the ski lift.
Okay, he'd be going up like the ski lift. Very good. So we would have a diagonal line here. It's going to be diagonal unless our slope is 0 or undefined. It's always going to be a diagonal line unless it's a 0 or undefined.
Undefined? 0,
okay.
Negative, positive.
Yes?
So even if it's going down, it's positive?
No, even if it's going down like this, it would still be diagonal. It'd be negative, but it would still be diagonal. Okay? So we want to graph this line first. So y'all see y equals x. It's going to go on this graph here.
It's 1 over 1.
What? Hang on. What do we graph first? What did we talk about on Friday? We always graph that y-intercept first. So let's make a note of that right here. Okay? Y-intercept is this column. We are going to graph first. If we do not graph this first, we are going to end up with the wrong answer. So our y-intercept, we are going to graph first. Then we use our slope, okay? I know we always find our slope first and then our y-intercept, but we always graph our y-intercept first. And if we're graphing our y-intercept first, that's always going to go on the y-axis, okay? So remember the y-axis is this one right here, the up and down, the vertical. So where is 0 on that y-axis?
Middle.
It's in the middle. It's at the center, just like where it would be on the x-axis. Nothing special going on there. Okay? That's our first point. Wherever that y-intercept is our first point, and we have to get that point first. Caitlin, you're zoning out, and you're not going to know what's going on, because you already told me you don't know what's going on. All right. Now, we need to look at slope, okay? Remember, slope is rise over run. It's on the board if you need to look at that. So the top number is the rise. If we're rising positive 1, which direction is that? Rising positive 1 is up. Rising a positive would be up. If you get in the elevator and you want to rise 1, you're going up a floor. The run, the bottom number, is also a positive 1, so it's right.
Wait, I got that part. Why is it right? Can you say that again? I got that.
Slope is rise over run. The rise is the top number. So if the rise is a positive 1, we're going up. If the rise was negative, we would go down. Here, the run, that's side to side. The run is a positive 1. So think about your x-axis. To the right, your positive x values. Left if it's negative. Yep. So our slope is telling us we're going to go up 1 and right 1. Now, where are we going to go up and right from? Not the, well, in this case it is the origin, but it's not always. Why is it the origin this time?
Oh, because it's smack dab in the center. And it's where it starts 0, 0.
What's on 0, 0? The y-intercept. Very good. We always have to start from our y-intercept. This is the one time that it starts at 0, 0. So from that point, always from the point, we are going to go up 1 and right 1. And there we have another point.
So we say up 1, you go 1, and then you go right.
Yeah, so it's telling, our slope tells us how the line moves. So from this point, it's going to move up and over 1. And I can keep going. So from this point, I can go up and over 1 and get another point. And we can keep going and going and going. 1. I would do at least 3 just to make sure y'all get the hang of it.
May I please use the restroom?
Can you wait till after I teach this? Sure. Guys, stop. Okay, once I have some points, what is the whole purpose of this? What am I trying to make?
Right angle. A line.
A line.
You gotta draw your little arrow point.
You're welcome.
Make sure your line takes up the graph. Make sure you have your arrows at the end. Again, a line does not mean I'm connecting these 2 points and that's it. It needs to keep going.
All the way up.
There's one right there and her little pencil thing here. Oh, wait,
I did. I snatched the
Well, if
wig.
you're right beside me, you can borrow mine as we go along.
I snatched the wig too. It's corn nut.
Okay. Any questions about this line right here? Oh, okay. Great.
Corn nut.
This next one,
I'll have to go there.
this next one, x equals 4. I want y'all to go ahead and put like a little star, asterisk, whatever you need to know. This one's weird. This one's weird. This is the weird one. Okay? There is x. So when we have x is equal to a number, these are the worst ones. These are the ones that most people struggle with the most, okay? There is no y here. If there is no y, there's not going to be a what?
A y-axis.
A y-intercept. Okay? And when I say there is none, I don't mean it's 0. I mean it's literally there is none. It does not exist. Okay? There is no y-intercept because there is no y value. And I know there is an x value here, and I know there's a 1 in front of this x, but that's not our slope, okay? Remember, when we have x equals a number, I've written it on the board, when x is equal to a number, our slope is what? Undefined. Slope is undefined.
So there's no y, meaning there's nothing.
There's no y, so there is no y-intercept. It will never cross the y-axis. When we have x is equal to 4, our slope is going to be undefined. That's something that you guys are going to have to know in your head.
So x equal to 80, whatever is undefined.
X equals to just a number is undefined. And you guys can see right here, when we have undefined slope, it's not horizontal, it's vertical. Okay, remember Bob, if he's on that cliff and he falls off, he's going to be undefined at the bottom. That's how seriously, that's how I remember. I know, it's horrible, but that's how I remember. Okay?
I remember.
So this is going to be a vertical line. Now to graph this vertical line, we can't just put it anywhere on our graph.
You have to put it on that board.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to our graph.
Can we
Okay,
just like put
hang on.
dots on it?
Hang on. It says x is equal to 4. So x still has to be equal to 4, and where is 4 at? 4 over. It has to be. This is the one time where our first point is going to be on the x-axis.
And you go up and down.
Exactly.
Oh.
If x is equal to 4, we're going to go right 4 on the x-axis, and then we make a vertical line. Now let's talk about why it's a vertical line. Okay? Kyle, can you tell me what the coordinate is of this point right here? Yep. You are Kyle.
I know it.
Where's the other Kyle?
I know it.
Okay, Caitlin.
Is this 4 over negative 4? Is that it?
Huh? Where are you getting, what in the world?
I don't know. I'm counting.
Okay, guys, a coordinate is x comma y. So right and down is right 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1, so 4, negative 1. So what's the x value right here? 4. 4 is the x value. Okay. What about this point right here? What's the x value of this point? 4. So any point on this line has an x value of 4. Okay. And that's why it's a vertical line. Any point on this line, x value is 4. Does that sort of kind of make sense? Sort of kind of.
Right, so any line on there.
Any point on there. So like right here, the x value is 4, the y value is negative 4.
Okay.
So that's 4, negative 4.
Oh, okay, yeah, because
Everything, if it's in line right here, that's how we know it's 4. Okay?
Corna, at the end of the class, can I go to my phone from Miss Posey's office?
They'll call you.
No, like,
They'll call you. Okay. So guys, next one, okay? We have 2 more on this paper that we're going to do, okay? So y is equal to negative 2x plus 4. What's the slope?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Why do we know it's negative 2? It's in front of the x. Very good. M is the slope. It's attached to the x. And then Kelsey told me we got to put it over 1 because we like to have this written as a fraction. Okay? If we have a slope of something that's not 0 or undefined, that means this line is going to be diagonal.
I didn't get in trouble. It's like I was
Okay, come on. Okay, and what's our y-intercept?
We're going too fast.
4. Okay, how do I know this 4 is going to be positive? It has a plus sign. Later, you guys will have like a -1 here. So what's the y-intercept? -1. Good. Okay. That's a smart idea. Stop. No, stop.
What about
What?
what about the one below that?
Here?
No, the -1. It's the same thing there, like -3.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and graph this one. Okay, what do we have to graph first? The 4. The 4 has to go on the what? Y-axis. Remember, this one right here is our y-axis. And if our y-intercept is 4, I have to go up 4. And we put our first point.
So basically, if it has a y, it always, and the intercept always goes on y because it's the y.
Yes. So the only time we're going to go on the x-axis is if x is equal to number. There is no y. Every other time we go on the y-axis. Okay? Now our slope is a -2. Okay? So let's look back over here. I had people in my last class decide that they didn't need to write this down, and then they didn't know how to do the problems later. So please write down what I write down. The -2 is the rise. If the rise is a -2, we are going down. Please write the word down. They did not do that.
Can I do an arrow?
Okay? If you have a negative slope, that negative number needs to just go with one of the numbers. I always put it with the top. That way I'm always going down. Okay? So the negative, just put it on the top number, which means that bottom number is still positive. So we are still going to go to the right. Because that's the run, and the positive goes right. Okay? So we're going to go down to right 1. Where, again, do we have to start? At the y-intercept. We do not start at the origin unless that's where our y-intercept is. We have to start at the dot. So from our dot, we are going down 1, 2, and right 1. And then we put a point. Can I do that again? So from this point, let's go down 1, 2, and right 1. And put a new point.
So this is a negative?
Our slope is negative, so our line should be going down.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, good. Down to right 1. Again, we can keep doing this until we run out of space on our graph, or you get tired of doing it. I would say at least do 3 points. You only technically need 2, but it's helpful to do 3. Yes, ma'am.
If it was like a negative down, I thought you go up.
Our slope.
Oh, the positive.
Okay, just, Alicia, think about it. If I had a negative on top and a negative on bottom, that whole thing would be what? 2 negatives make a positive. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So only the top number is negative. The bottom number is positive. Okay, that was a good question. Yeah.
Isn't it, if you said like negative, like 1/4 or something, would it be like -1 and -1?
Again, that would make it a positive. So I always assign the negative to the top number.
So it's never going to go left?
If you want to, so like she said, -1/4 can be -1 over +4, or it can be +1 over -4.
Oh.
So you can say you're going to go down and right, or you can go up and left. I just always put it at the top one because I like to go down and up and always move to the right. Okay? Now that I have points, we do need to make a line. Make sure y'all don't forget that part. And make sure, again, that your line takes up the full graph, not just connects 2 points.
3 points.
Some people just do 2. Okay? Questions at all?
Okay, I don't know what question to ask, but can you repeat what you just said, because I zoned out like a little after you
Making the line part?
said. The 1/4?
The 1/4 part?
The dot, 2, -1.
The top number, if it's negative, you're going to go down. The bottom number, if it's negative, you're going to go left. But
They're both negative, but you know you just have one.
if the whole slope is negative, only one of those numbers can be negative. So we could have done -2. So we had a slope of -2. Another way to write -2 is to do a +2 divided by -1. That still makes a -2. 2 divided by -1 is -2. Right? You guess so? 2 divided by -1 is what, Alicia? 2 divided by -1 is what? -2. So that's the same thing as -2 divided by a +1. Okay? So we just have to assign our negative to one of these numbers. Just one. If we assigned it to the bottom number, this would be up 2 because our rise is positive. This would be left 1.
So what if you can't divide about whatever number? Like, say the top number is 3, and then, you know, like, -2.
3 -2. You're thinking too hard into this. All right, let's go over y equals 2 first, okay? And then when y'all get to those negative slopes, then come ask me questions, all right? So y equals 2. We do have a y value this time, but how many x's do we have? None. 0. So what's our slope?
0.
0.
And then we don't know it's horizontal.
Yeah.
And then it's the intercept is
No. Okay, so our slope is 0, which does make this a horizontal line. When our slope is 0, that is a horizontal line, because remember, Bob is having 0 fun when the line is horizontal. He's having to push himself. He doesn't get any, it's not fun at all. Okay. Oh, Bobita. Sorry, we did Bobita with 0. All right, now our y-intercept. If y is equal to 2, our y-intercept is 2.
what?
Y is equal to 2. So the y-intercept's 2. The other one was x equals, okay? X equals, this one's the tricky one. This one, if y'all think it through, this one isn't as difficult. There are 0 x's here, the slope is 0.
I get it.
Y is equal to 2, so our y-intercept is 2.
So basically, the y-intercept is equal to the slope, so the y equals
No.
like,
No. The y-intercept's not equal to the slope because the slope's 0.
so maybe.
Let's look at our graph. Right here. Y is equal to 2. Guys, where is y equal to 2 at?
Positive 2.
Which way do I go?
Up.
Up 2. Y is equal to 2. That is this point right here. Here is where y is equal to 2. This is our y-axis.
And then you go up some more.
with the points on horizontal.
Horizontal. Very good. So since y is equal to 2, we can draw a horizontal line. So side to side. Because our slope is 0, Bobita is having 0 fun when she skis along this line.
She ain't gonna know that.
Here is my Bobita. Here's her hair.
Is there anything
We're going to do the table. You can go. Okay. All right. So when y is equal to a number, it's horizontal. When x is equal to a number, it is vertical. If you have x and y in your equation, it's diagonal.
What is that?
I don't know. It's my diagonals. Okay? So what you guys are going to do, I'm going to stop right here on this, and you guys are going to finish these. Okay?
For homework?
Can we do one more?
No, I don't want to.